As you can see here, pretty dramatic scenes, and bear in mind we haven't seen protests in cities for the last 5 or 6 months. People have been so scared of the fact that they will be detained, and that is clearly what is happening. But this mobilization announcement has brought people out onto the streets here in Moscow, in Yekaterinburg, in various other cities across the country, and police are dealing with them very brutally. And it is extraordinary actually to see how brave people are being, to hear them chanting no to war, nie vojna, and to brave the police reaction. You can see that reaction. I'm not saying that everybody in this country is against this partial mobilization. I've been out on the streets talking to people today, and some people, especially the older generation, are saying this is what we have to do. We have to save the people of Donbass, and they soak up Vladimir Putin's rhetoric. But there are people, as you can see here now, who don't agree with this, who are worried about this escalation, who don't want to have to go and fight. And of course, this is something that the Kremlin has avoided. They have said this entire duration, the last 7 months, that they are not considering a partial or a full mobilization. And then lo and behold, just 2 weeks, essentially, after that Ukrainian counter-offensive, President Putin makes the announcement. He says he's going to partially mobilize for now. The defense minister says it's just 300,000 men. Well, that's a considerable number of men. It won't necessarily be the panacea that he might hope it can be. It will take time to train those men up. It will take time to rotate them in. Winter is coming. But it is a considerable number to send in. And of course, once you've gone for partial mobilization, you can also always raise those numbers. It will only be the Ministry of Defense who's counting. So this is an escalation. Let's just turn around again and see what's going over there. And of course, then you had those nuclear threats from Vladimir Putin. We've heard them before. We had, just at the start of this, him putting the nuclear forces on alert. But to say, to blame the West for nuclear blackmail, which is what he did, to say that NATO members were raising the spectre, the prospect of a nuclear war, which they are not, and then to threaten and say that Russia's arsenal in its entirety would be used to defend the motherland, the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the motherland, and then to say, I am not bluffing. I think from a fairly paranoid leader of a powerful nuclear state, those are warnings that we do have to take seriously.
And Diana, you make the point that this is just a partial mobilization that's been announced. And are the scenes around you, is this why Vladimir Putin was keen to avoid a mass mobilization?
Absolutely. This always carried a political risk. He knew that there is a difference between sending people in to fight who have signed a contract saying that they want to fight for the money, and then forcing young men, just because they have done military service at one time and developed particular skills, to go and fight even if they don't want to. We are now in a situation where we will be seeing that, and it's not only just young men, it is men up to 50, 55, who, if they have the particular skills, will be sent into Ukraine. And I think that is why they were hesitant to take this step for a very long time. And that is why Ukraine and many countries in the West say this is an act of desperation on the part of Vladimir Putin rather than any signal of strength.